Grand rising, beloveds. Immortal healing. I'm going to have to put the phone down in a little bit, but I'm going to continue with the message. This is one that God woke me abundantly to this morning to share with his beloveds. And I hope you guys get a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful testament from it, as my intent is only to share life and life abundantly, as my intent is only for life and life abundantly within all of my brethrens. May it feed every cell of your living soul. As I communion with life this morning, it led me to this beautiful, beautiful testament, which I've already been at and been in. It's just this morning it asked me to share it with my brethren. Everything that I come on here and I testify, beloveds, it is, and please forgive the background. Please forgive the background noise. Everything that I come on here and share, I've already walked in its footsteps. I've already walked as the journey, as the testimony and the testament, so that I can speak this to you at this present moment without any doubt, as the faith of a mustard seed. As each and every one of us, we are trying to get into that spirit of life, beloveds. So God's immortal healing. See, a lot of us don't understand that God's healing is immortal. And to have immortal healing, we must be under the spirit of the living truth. This is why Jesus stated the truth will set us free. Nothing comes inside of your kingdom without it living, beloveds, as every last one of your cells prove itself worthy of this living truth. Every last one of your cells, beloveds, is a immortal kingdom. And that immortal kingdom must eat of its own nature. So your cells must eat of its own nature, which is the living truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help you God, because the parent of those immortal cells is eternal life. And that is what we call the spirit, or life itself. So we must all remember that on every given day, beloveds, our healing is the truth. And Jesus said it so beautifully, so wonderfully, and so gracefully: the truth shall set us free. And on this day, as I communion with life and I communion with the living truth, I came across this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful testimony to share with my brethren, and that is the healing is immortal being. An immortal being is living in your truth. See, God is not a liar, because God is not man. And as I walk this journey, as I walk this through the valley of the shadow of death, and as I passed over and rose into my spirit kingdom, back into life, I got to see this on levels that many still are fighting these battles. We're fighting battles against mortal beings, which means we're fighting battles against the flesh. And we have to rise past the flesh, which is the mortal kingdom, and come into the immortal kingdom. And then from that immortal kingdom, our cells will pass us over and carry us and rise us back into life itself, because that is the healing nature, or the truth of life itself. I came to give you life and life abundantly, and the truth sets us free. So many people don't understand that the more that we deny truth, because God is not man, so God cannot lie. This is why Jesus said that the truth is what sets us free. When you understand that you are a descendant of a living God, and that if you serve a living God, this living God is immortal healing, which means that this healing is his own nature. It requires nothing from you and I. Remember, it says, stand still and know that I am God. So when you understand this beautiful, 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 beautiful truth, beloveds, you will have immortal healing, which means that you will not have to do anything of life. Life will be added on to you. And that's how I got to this understanding. During my journey, there were it was the mortal kingdom, which is the flesh kingdom, it was coming against me on levels that were not living. And this is its job. Its job is to keep me in that kingdom until I am worthy enough to become mortal nature, or immortal nature, or mortal nature. Even mortal nature is a covenant within itself. Immortal nature is a covenant within itself, and so is eternal nature is a covenant within itself. They are trinities that we all must pass and walk through in order to get to the kingdom of heaven within. So many of us don't understand that during our journey, we are taught to become thieves who come to kill, steal, and destroy. That is what the mortal kingdom is proving to us. The mortal kingdom proves to us our fall from grace, our fall from heaven, our fall from eternity itself. So many of us are not aware that we are walking in the valley of the shadow of death, and our journey there is to pass over and rise back into the eternal kingdom of life. And until you pass through the valley of the shadow of death, which is until you honor the mortal kingdom, you will never get to the immortal kingdom, which is into the transformed in the renewed mind, which will pass you over and rise you into the spiritual kingdom called life. So this is our walk with God. Your walk with God every day is to get to immortal healing. Immortal healing is, beloveds, immortal healing is a frequency and a resonance where you operate in the presence of the Lord. You no longer can stand in the mortal kingdom or the immortal kingdom because you are no longer welcomed in that frequency and that vibration. And because of this, you become an ascended master called life. And that means that God will give you the authority, the dominion, and the sovereignty to lead your people out of the wilderness. This is something that many people have stated, but they have never done because they are still living in the mortal kingdom, praising a eternal living God, which means that you are what we would call a false prophet. And yesterday I attended a Zoom, and in this Zoom it stated that many people don't want to hear the truth. They just want gratification. They want gratification. They want it to happen now. But the very truth of all matter is that matter is the reason why eternal or immortal healing is not available to anybody, because we want gratification, which is lust. A lot of people don't understand the root to lust. The root to lust is to be in the presence of the Lord and sinning against your own nature. See, many people don't understand that lust is nothing but to be in the presence of the Lord, to be in the authority of life because you are its descendant, but to not live in its eternal kingdom. And this is what man does. This is what flesh does. And this is why it says, and the word became flesh and made its dwelling. And many people don't understand, to get back into heaven, which is the kingdom of heaven lives within, which is your eternal kingdom, you must go through the Trinity of life. This is why we all are chosen in our mother's womb. This is why that sail swam up into the kingdom of heaven within, which is the eternal earth, our mother's womb, which is the creator of life herself, and became one in life, which is the Trinity of life. Because we are all here to walk back into the kingdom of heaven. We are all here to sow our royal oats back into life. And this is something that many are chosen, but only few can receive that glory. Because in order to get back to God's glory, to God's grace, you have to get back to the immortal kingdom. And that is where your spirit will pass you over and rise you back into the fabric of life itself. So if you are walking in faith of a mustard seed, you will be walking in the sovereignty, the grace, and the mercy of life itself, which means that you will already be standing still and knowing that this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful testament of life is already won victory over you, your soul. This is why it says, what does a man profit if he gains the whole world but loses his soul? Which means that you are still walking in the mortal kingdom of life, which is not living, beloveds. And this offends many people. And this is why many people don't pass over and rise back into the immortal kingdom and into the eternal kingdom of life, because they want gratification right here, right now. And that is where our lustful spirit takes over us. This is where it says the carnal mind. This is the lustful spirit. Lust is the carnal mind, beloveds. That's what it stands for. Lust does not stand for sex, although it can become flesh in that intelligence. See, if we give it that name, then it will have to turn into the spirit of that flesh, which means that reality. So if we tell ourselves that sex is lustful, and what it's really meaning is that the mortal kingdom is the lustful kingdom. Anything that we do in the mortal kingdom, which is flesh, it becomes our living testament, which is our living reality. And the word became flesh, beloveds, and it made its dwelling. So this is lust. It's the immortal kingdom falling from grace down into the mortal kingdom. This is our trinity of life. The eternal, the immortal, and the mortal kingdom is our trinity. This is how we understand life. This is our walk with God, and this is our journey out of the valley of the shadow of death and back into the kingdom of heaven with them, beloveds. So if you are willing to take this journey with life, you are going to have to understand that it is only the truth that shall set you free. In my walk into this kingdom, beloveds, I had to walk in the mortal kingdom with immortal beings who honor life outside of eternal kingdom, which is the knowledge that my people perish of. I had to walk with people who have authority over the mortal kingdom. They have been given authority over the mortal kingdom, which means that their job and their only job is to keep the mortal kingdom living. Which means that until you honor that kingdom, which is in truth, see, until I honored that kingdom in truth, I could not break the strongholds of that kingdom. I could not break any stronghold of that kingdom, because I was the one living in its lustful spirit. I was the lustful spirit, which is, and the word became flesh and made its dwelling. I was the word that became flesh, and it dwelled in my spirit and became me. So many people can't understand this beautiful testament, because that kingdom, the mortal kingdom, which is the fleshful kingdom, is lustful. What its job is to do is to keep you, it is to keep you out of the immortal kingdom, beloved. It's to keep you out of the immortal kingdom until you rise, until you honor the truth of life itself. So people will say, oh, you're in the past. Stay in the present moment. See, the thing about truth is living, and it can never and will never live in the mortal kingdom, beloveds. Truth can never live in the mortal kingdom, because the mortal kingdom is not living. So anything that is living is eternal, beloveds. And eternal is just a spirit that is conscious of its state of being, which is a beautiful, beautiful truth. And beloveds, let me tell you, it is very easy to be in that kingdom. It is very easy to be in that kingdom, but what keeps you from that kingdom is the stronghold, which is the mortal kingdom. It's the flesh kingdom. That kingdom wants immediate gratification. That means that it is lustful, and it comes with many, many, many weapons formed against you, like money, like success, like fame. Those things are lustful spirits. These spirits, what they do is they gratify your mortal kingdom, which is the flesh. And once the flesh is gratified, it doesn't want to receive anything other than what it is standing in. You know, And the word became flesh and made his dwelling. So its only journey, beloveds, at that present moment is to gratify the flesh. And in order to have immortal healing, which means that every one of your cells will come into your kingdom and fight the battles of life, because you don't understand that the battles of life is your lustful nature. It is you going against your eternal kingdom and your mortal kingdom, which is your intelligence. See, many people don't understand that truth is intelligence. And what intelligence's only job to do in your kingdom is to ensure that nothing that is not living gets into your kingdom, which is your genetic makeup. See, your genetic makeup is a code of life. It carries only one directive, and that is to give you life. I came to give you life. So this is where the DNA is born. The DNA is born in the immortal kingdom. This is where we come into the understanding. This is where we come into the understanding of truth. In the immortal kingdom, we come into the understanding of truth, because this kingdom, beloveds, this kingdom glorifies and heals our flesh. The immortal, which is healing, beloveds. It is the root to our healing. The root to our healing is the immortal kingdom, which is the cells. It's the mind that God told you, do not conform to the world, but be transformed and renewed in my mind. And once we get into this kingdom, beloveds, this is where God's work begins. This is where healing becomes immortal, which means that it becomes a living testament. You now become a living testament, which means that your cells will now fight your battle. And it means that you will be in the armor of God itself, which means that that armor, its only job is to protect life. A lot of us don't understand that in our mother's womb, we were chosen to be the living kingdom. You know, you are a chosen one, fearfully and wonderfully made, beloveds, each and every one of us. And we are here for but one thing, and that is to glorify life. We are not here to glorify flesh or the mortal kingdom. The mortal kingdom is a lustful spirit. It is the spirit that wants immediate gratification. And I did a Zoom yesterday with an amazing spirit. And he told me some beautiful things, but as I listened, and I listened with wisdom, and I listened with truth, living truth, it brought me back down to my journey in the mortal kingdom. Before I got to where I was, it was the mortal kingdom. You know, the mortal kingdom wants you to gratify the now. It does not want to show you the kingdom of life. Its job, beloveds, its job is, and the word became flesh and made its dwelling. Its job is to keep you in the flesh, in the lustful spirit. And that's where you don't understand intelligence. Intelligence is a beautiful, beautiful testament of life. And beloveds, it is there to protect the eternal kingdom. It is there to protect the eternal kingdom, which is the kingdom of life. So until you put in the work, beloveds, you are like the thief who comes to kill, steal, and destroy. And this is why so many of God's kingdom, this is why God's kingdom has not risen to be able to honor all of life. God's kingdom has not risen to honor all of life because it is no longer living in the eternal kingdom, which is what Jesus stated, and the truth will set you free. And see, when we don't live in the truth, we don't understand that we place strongholds against the living kingdom. We ourselves place strongholds against the living kingdom, which means that we deny the right to life from God's kingdom, which is the living kingdom. And this is where we become spiritual warfare. This is where it is an eye for an eye, the Cain and Abel story. Brethren against brethren, life against life, which is automatic death. And we can't see this. If I go against life, life will go against me. Cain and Abel showed us the power what duality does to us. It's when we fight against life. It's when we come against life, we automatically get death, beloveds. So this is our understanding. This is our testament. This is our beautiful honor to understand what Jesus was stating, and the truth will set us free, because that truth is a beautiful, 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 beautiful testament upon its own living nature, which means that if we honor it and if we stand in the presence of the Lord will fight our battles against the immortal kingdom, because the immortal kingdom, beloveds, is truly not living, and anything that is not living, victory has already been won. Victory has literally already been won. And this is the beautiful thing about standing in the truth. It cannot lie to you, beloveds, because the truth is living, and the truth is something that is a immortal healing, which means that when you are healed, you will not be in the authority to make anyone else sick. You will not be in the authority to place strongholds against their life. You will not be in the image of flesh, which means that you will not be in the spirit of lust. See, the spirit of lust, it is immediate gratification, beloveds. And I was told that if I cannot gratify the spirit, people will not want to be one with me. This is how man thinks. This is why man always goes to immediate gratification, because they don't want to put in the work. They want to take somebody else's immunity and use it as their own, which means that is a stronghold. That is another stronghold placed upon the living kingdom. And every time we place a stronghold against the living kingdom, that stronghold takes anybody in the mortal kingdom, and it adds more warfare against that kingdom, which means that it speeds up the days of their lives. It destroys life. It destroys the kingdom of life faster. This is why God says, I numbered their days. And we must understand that God is a beautiful, 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 beautiful intelligence. And this intelligence is living, beloveds. This intelligence will never, ever, ever destroy life. And this intelligence will never lead life outside of the immortal kingdom, beloveds. That immortal kingdom is a armor. It is a armor that protects the genetic makeup of life. And anything that is formed against that kingdom will automatically be formed against the mortal kingdom, beloveds. It is just the way life works. It is its job, because it is an intelligence that is supposed to ensure the genetic makeup of all of life, beloved. So when we see things like evil, wickedness, hate, jealousy, poverty, those things are not to be formed against us. Those things are to ensure that either we do the work of the immortal kingdom, or we will be the valley of the shadow of death, which means we will do the work to ensure the eternal kingdom, which means that every trinity of life has its own job. It has its own job because it's an intelligence, and it is never to hurt us. It is never to deny us. It is never to forsake us. We are the forsaken, which means that we forsake life. We deny life. We are the sinners against life, because life came to give us life, beloveds. And this is the beautiful, beautiful truth about life, is that it does not forsake us. We forsake life by not honoring it in its truth, its living truth. And this is how we get to immortal healing. When we get to immortal healing, beloveds, our cells will go in and fight off all the transgressions, which means all of our mortal sins. See, we are trying to heal our DNA. We are trying to take our DNA and we're trying to transform and renew it back into the living kingdom. And when we do this, beloveds, we become transformed and renewed, which is we become immortal health, which means that we no longer have to fight against the mortal sins. A lot of people don't understand that sickness is immortal sins. They are transgressions that are there to keep us in that Trinity until we can move to the second Trinity of life. And when we come back up into the first Trinity, which is the eternal kingdom, then we will be ascended masters, which means that we will no longer have to abide in sickness, sin, and death. Now, I can't tell you once you get to this level, you're not going to die, or you have to get to that understanding within your own living truth. That truth will be available to you once you come and rise, once you pass over and rise back up into the eternal kingdom, which is the living truth. And that truth will give you your understanding. Right now, I can't ask a mortal kingdom to understand anything that is living, because it does not believe in life. It does not believe in life. This is why it says don't honor the flesh, which is human, but to honor the spirit, which is life, the living kingdom. So I can't ask you to believe in anything in which you are not in the living truth of. This is why you have to do the work. And this is why you cannot steal this information to glorify and conform it to the world, because you will never, ever, ever rise. You will never, ever heal. You will never, ever, ever be chosen. And you will never, ever be given onto God's kingdom. And I don't want to keep you guys for too long, because there are things in the background that are literally taking my my focus away. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to end this beautiful, beautiful journey with you guys all. But in order to get to immortal healing, beloveds, you have to stand in the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help you God. And the day that you come into this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful resonance with life itself, is the day that all of your battles will be won. Because our battles is not flesh. Our battles is going against the kingdom of life. So if no one has told you this on this day, and thank you, Fred. Thank you for joining. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Our battle is not with flesh. Our battle is with life, and denying its right to live abundantly in our kingdom, and to sustain the kingdom of life within each and every one of the living bodies of life. Have an amazing day, beloveds, because you do deserve it.